And we begin this Christmas with breaking news. After weeks of accusing Nigeria's government of persecuting Christians, the commander-in-chief chose Christmas Day to fire back.
In a post on Truth Social, President Trump said the U.S. launched a, quote, powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorists in the West African country. Nigeria's population of 220 million is split almost equally between Christians and Muslims, and Nigeria's government has previously said people of many faiths, not just Christians, have suffered attacks at the hands of extremist groups. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth wrote on social media that the Department of War is, quote, always ready, and ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. It is not yet clear how many people were killed in the strikes or what may come next.
The sad part about all this is that as you're looking at all the news outlets, they keep using the term that Trump is accusing ISIS of attacking Christians when all the proof is out there, and you have Christian ministers and Christians, churchgoers in Nigeria begging the United States for help. But we're going to expose all this. I'm going to show you guys some news clips so you guys can catch up on what's going on. Here we go. Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. Before I explain this video that I'm dropping tonight, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying the Christmas holiday season. I didn't put out any videos. Just been keeping to myself a little bit, especially for the holidays, and I really didn't want to put anything out Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I basically wanted everybody to have a good time and not have to, see what's going on in the news. But it seems, that our beloved president got pretty fed up with the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. And this is something that's been going on for a while. I myself have put out a video or two about it. President Trump got fed up, and he gave the green light to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and said, you know what? If ISIS is not going to back down from persecuting and tormenting and basically destroying Christian lives in Nigeria, we're going to have to show them what's what and how we look out for our Christian brothers and sisters, not only in the U.S., but overseas. What's really bothering me about all this is that I'm going to show you guys a couple of news clips from different outlets, and they keep using the term when they're reporting on this that President Trump took out a strike against ISIS, accusing them of persecuting Christians. They keep using that term, accusing them. And you know what? I find it so disgusting and just so heartless that they would use such a term, knowing very well that there has been an attempted genocide, against Christians, Christian values all around the world, and 99% of the time, if not 100%, it's being perpetrated by radical Islamists, terrorists. Now, I know that people are going to say, well, they're also attacking other religious faiths. Yes, I get it. But the ones that don't get a lot of attention is the Christian community. Let's just be fair here, Now, is ISIS attacking other Muslim groups, not only in Nigeria, but is also happening in Syria and all that? Yes. But here's the thing. The Muslim communities don't talk about the infighting in between themselves. They only talk about the news when it's basically Jews are involved, or Western countries that are trying to basically take out the terrorist groups. There's hardly any mention from the Muslim community, and I have to admit from the Jewish community, when it comes to Christians being persecuted. Supposedly, as we stand right now, in Nigeria alone, this year alone, over 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria. Some people say it's happening because they're caught in the crossfire. That's not what's being said by Christians in Nigeria. They are being hunted down. They are being attacked in churches. As a matter of fact, I put out a video, and a big video was circulating of the churchgoers that were basically live streaming their sermon, one of their sermons, in a church in Nigeria, and how ISIS terrorists basically went into the church and just started shooting people, killing people, and kidnapping people. So I don't understand how American mainstream media could keep using the term of them being accused when you have so many people speaking out about this, so many people begging for help. Okay, and this is not the first time President Trump has spoken about this. He actually spoke about this also back in in his first presidency in 2016. But once again, it was quiet, and under the Biden administration, it was definitely kept quiet. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'll have to bring it up. When Boko Haram kidnapped all those girls, many of them were Catholic school girls, there was barely a peep from President Obama. Okay, that was under his watch. But you know what? I'm going to digress on all that, because we're going to go and show, I'm going to go and show what's going on now, what took place yesterday. And like I said, President Trump said, you know what, enough is enough. We try to give ISIS warnings. They keep saying that it's Christians that are getting caught in the crossfire. Well, listen, if you don't know exactly who you're fighting, and you don't have it in your war plan to move innocent civilians out of the way, you're just going to run right through them. And you're basically, whichever ones you take out to you is a trophy, then you have a problem. Okay? And on top of that, there is way too much video out there. In this day and age of technology, there is way too much video out there of these terrorists basically attacking Christians. Now, I can't show you any of that, so if you want to find any of that video, just go on X, go on Telegram, go on those apps if you want. I mean, if you got a strong stomach, but I mean, the atrocities that they're putting on people. It just makes you wonder, again, why is the mainstream media trying to use certain words as if, you know what, this is all just something that's being blown out of proportion, when it's not. But with that being said, let's get to the first video clip. Here we go.
President Donald Trump announced that he ordered deadly military strikes against Islamic State terrorists in northwest Nigeria on the evening of Christmas, accusing them of killing Christians. Trump described the attacks as
There you
deadly,
go. He said accusing them of killing Christians. This is the second news outlet.
but did not further elaborate on details regarding the missile strikes. It's unclear how many people were killed in the strike. Thursday evening's missile strike comes after Trump and Republicans in Congress raised alarms about the killings of Christians in Nigeria. Earlier this month, the State Department restricted visas for Nigerians involved in ethnic and religious violence. War Secretary Pete Hegseth thanked the Nigerian government for, quote, support and cooperation. More than 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria this year, according to Intersociety, a human rights organization. In November...
Okay, this is their paper in Nigeria. It says, Trump to Nigeria, stop the killing or face military action. Now, I can't really see what they, it says the date's right here, I guess. Yeah, this is back in November 2nd. It was on a Sunday. So, this has been going on for a while, and this is what I don't understand. You have these news outlets saying that President Trump is accusing ISIS of attacking Christians. If it was just an accusation, then why are they letting this kind of headline on their newspaper in Nigeria? Because it's true. That's why. But let's continue.
Trump called on Hegseth to, quote, prepare for possible action in Nigeria and warned that the United States would enter the country, quote, guns a-blazing to protect the Christian population.
All right, we'll get to the next video clip. Here we go.
Donald Trump announces that the U.S. has launched powerful and deadly strikes against Islamic State forces in Nigeria. This is video released by the administration. Trump saying the strikes were launched against, quote, terrorist scum. There are also developments from the White House about the Russia-Ukraine war, and for the latest on both issues, let's bring Kamal Afzali in now. He's live this morning from London. Good morning, Kamal.
Good morning, Meredith. Last month, President Trump ordered the Pentagon to begin preparing for possible military action in Nigeria after accusing the government of failing to stop violence against Christians.
See, there you go. Using the term again, accuse. After accusing, after accusing. This is what you're going to hear in the mainstream media. Okay, I have a couple of video clips that I'm going to show you real quick, and these are the words that they're starting to use. Okay, because if they come out and downplay it and say, you know what, the president is accusing, then that makes a lot of people upset at the president, saying, well, you know what, he's doing these military strikes, and it's just accusations. When everybody knows that there is so much video coming out from Nigeria of people begging and pleading, not only for America and President Trump, but for other countries around the world to please help them, to help stop the slaughter that these Muslim terrorist groups are doing against Christians and other groups. But they don't want you to believe that. They're starting to use these basically trigger words, and this is why so many people, I should say, this is why the mainstream media wonders why so many people are tuning out to them, because they're nothing but a bunch of talking heads. They just keep repeating and regurgitating the same talking points and the same trigger words in order to try to brainwash people to think something else. Okay, and it's all words that they use in order to set up a narrative. They want everybody to think that what President Trump is doing, it's all due to just accusations, when it is true fact of what's going on. And not only in Nigeria, it's happening in Syria. Okay? Where there's two Muslim factions fighting each other, but in the middle of that is the Druze and the Christians, and they're going out of their way to go after the Druze and the Christians.
As for what happened last night, we still don't know specifically what was targeted, how many people were killed, or even how many strikes were carried out. Numerous perfect strikes were the only words the president used to describe US military action against Islamic State militants in Nigeria late Thursday.
Unreal.
This unclassified video by the Department of Defense came after a post on Trump's Truth Social. The strike targeted ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians, he wrote. Video shot in northwest Nigeria's Sokoto state appears to show locals holding metal debris, part of a projectile, and a fire burning in the background. US African Command said the strikes were carried out in coordination with Nigerian authorities, a point echoed by Nigeria's foreign ministry in a statement acknowledging the strikes.
They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers.
The Trump administration has for months highlighted the alleged persecution of Christians in Nigeria, but experts...
I mean, that's disgusting. You heard what he just said? Highlighting the alleged persecution of Christians. It's like, you know, I just find it so disgusting. It's just so heartless, the way these people could put this news out, you know, and try to change the narrative, trying to change the words. It's like, you talk so much on the left. You talk so much about questioning other people and their humanity, and yet, you know, this is nothing new. This has been going on for decades, okay, in Muslim countries, where Christians are being persecuted. If it's not Christians, is another religious group. But it's like you won't talk about it. The only time you'll talk about it is when it really gets out of hand between two Muslim groups, okay, and it's all-out war that it can't be hidden, or, and I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, or when something is happening when there's Jews involved. All of a sudden, all the Muslims have to rally and say, you know what, we're being attacked by Jews. It's like, well, I mean, you people, no matter what, regardless of you're fighting each other, you still go after people that are in the middle that have nothing to do with your battle. You just want to go after them because in your eyes it's fair game. And if you're not doing that, you're basically just, if it's just you wanting to go after one other group, nobody wants to talk about that either. And leave it up to the mainstream media to just basically say, you know what, these are the trigger words we're going to use. We're going to use the word accused, and we're going to use the word accusations, and we're going to use, we're going to use all these words so like that. The narrative goes out that people could just basically stay upset at the president saying, you went into Nigeria, you're having all these military strikes. You won't tell us how many, if any innocent people, and I pray to God no innocent people did get caught in the middle. But it's just a narrative for them to just come out and say, you know what, he's doing all this under accusations because he's nothing but a warmonger, when that is further from the truth. But this is the way the mainstream media, not only here but abroad, as you can see, okay, that guy's talking out talking from London. It's like you want to spread you want to spread this false information campaign, knowing very well that there has been so many internet content creators that are putting out on different platforms so much information. There's so many people in these countries that are using their own homemade videos and putting them out online, begging people for help. And the mainstream media, now all of a sudden, they're going to start using words like accusations, accusing. I mean, it's just disgusting, people.
Say both Christians and Muslims have suffered at the hands of extremist groups in the West African country. The military action in Nigeria.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like I said, when it's Muslim against Muslim, you won't hear about it unless the war gets out of hand. But now they're trying to downplay it, saying, you know what? And supposedly that was a comment made by somebody in Nigeria, one of their higher ups. And it's like, all right, so let's just take the Christians out of the equation, okay? That means it's basically news silent, radio silence. You're not talking about the innocent Muslims, supposedly, that are caught in the middle. Okay, you won't talk about that. But now that somebody is saying, you know what, I want to look out for my Christian brothers and sisters, this is what we're going to put out. We're going to give all the information out so people can see. Now, all of a sudden, it's not just the Christians, it's also innocent Muslims too. Then why don't you do something about it? Because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative in the Muslim community for them to understand that there are factions of Muslims that fight each other to the death, and it's all political. It's not religious, it's political. Okay? Because if the Christians have nothing to do with what's going on with ISIS, why is ISIS going and attacking Christians and, like they say, Muslims also? It's because that's what they do. They're terrorists. They want their way, and they will take out anybody that they feel that are infidels to them. We're going to skip this because he's going to talk about Ukraine, and I don't even want to get into that right now. Let's get to the next video clip. Here we go.
The United States military carried out a deadly strike in northwest Nigeria on Christmas Day. Now, in the past 2 hours, the government released this video of that strike. President Donald Trump said the target was Islamic State terrorists. And in a Truth Social post, Trump accused ISIS of killing innocent Christians in the country.
See, there we go again. Trump accused ISIS. Again, another news clip. That's what, 3 or 4 in a row I just showed you? They just keep using that same term. That President Trump is accusing. They're not accusations. It's fact. I tell you, these people they're just heartless, man.
Now, the president went on to say he previously warned the terrorists if they didn't stop, there would be, quote, hell to pay. The strike comes as the Trump administration focuses on the ongoing plight of Christians in Nigeria. It's unclear how many people were killed.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know what? For sake of time, I'm going to minimize this. Okay. Let's see. This is one of the videos that has gone viral. Okay. And they're over here saying that people, you know, that President Trump is accusing, ISIS accusing, and all of them just keep saying he's accusing. Let's listen to the pastor that basically has been begging, okay, the United States and President Trump and other countries for help. Okay, and there's so much video out there. A lot of it I can't show you because I mean there's just people in the background, I mean bodies and stuff, so I don't want to show any of that. You know what I mean? I'm just putting this out so people understand what's going on. That the mainstream media, that they are trying to already spin the narrative on this. Okay? And all you keep hearing, in all honesty, is that they're saying that different groups are being attacked. But all you're hearing, okay, from people in Nigeria, in the United States and in other countries, it's focusing on Christians. As far as those other groups, it's like if other groups are being attacked, where is the voice for all those other groups? In my opinion, Okay, I think it's a lie. In Syria, we see what's going on because the people in the Jewish community are speaking out, and the Christian community, and in the Jewish community, they're talking about the Jews being attacked. But what about all these other groups that are supposedly being attacked in Nigeria? I'm not saying that that it's not entirely true, but where is the voice for those people? All of a sudden, you have people speaking up for the Christians, and they're trying to downplay it by, well, it's not just them, it's other people too. It is just is sickening, man. It's demonic and it's diabolical. Check this out.
Please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria outside performing burial every day, and they expect us to silence. Now is an order. Nigerian government came out openly and denied there is no massacre, there is no genocide of Christians in Nigeria. And look at.
You hear that? You heard the news reporter saying that Trump is accusing, again, that word, of the Nigerian government not doing anything. You are listening to this pastor right here, a man of God. Okay? I don't know if you can make out, his whatchamacallit, his accent. I'll just read it for you if you're not watching.
They are killing Christians in Nigeria.
He says they are killing Christians in Nigeria.
Performing burial every day.
And they're out there performing burials every day.
And they expect us to silence now.
And they expect us to silence. In other words, they expect them to stay silent about this.
It's an order. Nigerian government came out openly and denied.
The Nigerian government cannot openly deny
there's no massacre.
That there's no massacre or
there's no genocide.
And it's like, for the mainstream media to just go and try to downplay this and keep using the term, accusation, accusatory, whatever the case is like you have no idea. You have no idea, but yet when it comes to Palestine, it has to be all hands on deck. Everybody has to listen, and if you don't condone it, then that means you're part of it. If you turn silence is violence. If you don't say something about it, that means you want it. Well, what about the Christians? And come on, let's talk real here, people. What about the Christians? The same should be said for all you people out there on the left. That if you're going to deny what's going on, then that means you're all for it. Okay? Or is it a double standard as usual? In my opinion, it's a double standard as usual.
Christian in Nigeria, and look at it today. Is there any Muslim here? United Nations, I know you're watching it. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria. Massacre Christians. If they say they kill Muslims, Muslims are being killed. By who? By Muslims.
You heard what he just said? They're saying, yeah, they're killing Muslims. And he's like, yeah, by who? By other Muslims. But they won't say anything about it. Okay, because Muslims don't want people to know that Muslims are killing each other. But wait a minute, I thought you people were all supposed to be banding together. So if you have a Muslim group that's out there attacking Muslims and Christians, why don't you say something? Why don't you say something? Only when the whistle is being blown, only when the horn is being blown, saying, you know what? Wait a minute. They are going after Christians massively, and this is not new. It's just amping up even more. Now, all of a sudden, well, they're killing Muslims too. Then why didn't you say something? And then who's doing the killing? It's not Christians going after the Muslims. Okay? It's not the Jews in Nigeria, if there's any, going after Muslims. It's not all the other religious groups, I don't know which ones are out there, going after the Muslims. No, it's the radical Muslim terrorists going after other people. and they're probably going after Muslims that want nothing to do with their radical agenda. But you won't hear nothing from the mainstream media about that.
Please stop.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Okay, I mean, this is insane. I'm gonna play a quick clip so we can end the video of what President Trump has to say about all this. I think it was before or right after he gave the word for the strike. Here we go.
I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians.
Now, Nigeria's president doesn't deny the violence, but says previous claims that Nigeria is religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality. Independent experts say extremist groups have targeted both Muslims and Christians in Nigeria, killing tens of thousands of civilians in recent years.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that. And wait, I'm going to end the video. First of all, that clip was from November 5th. That's what President Trump said what was going to happen, but they wind up doing the strike yesterday on Christmas Day. Some outlets are saying Christmas Eve. Some people are saying it was after midnight, which made it Christmas Day. To me, that's neither here nor there. Okay, they basically had to go in and do what they had to do. The thing with this whole situation is that when it's being shown more and more that Christians are being persecuted, now they want to say, well, you know what? This has been going on for years, but there's been other countless different types of people being attacked. But you never spoke about it. Okay? You never spoke about it. Why? And even if you didn't speak about it, which you should have, only for the one fact that, you know what? Why are innocent people from different religious backgrounds being attacked by terrorists? And you would think that the government would basically press down harder on that one group, but they did. Why? Because this has been going on for decades now. Okay? And it's because the way the Muslim community thinks, it's like if we have a skirmish amongst each other, we'll figure it out. It's none of your business. But then if innocent people get caught in the crossfire, oh well, it's no big deal to us. They're all infidels anyway because they're not Muslim. So now the hammer's being laid down. This is getting out more and more. But even with that, they're still trying to put lipstick on this pig, making it seem like, you know what, it's not as bad as you think. Really? Tell that to all the people that have been suffering for decades now, not only in Nigeria, but in other Muslim countries around the world. And as a matter of fact, we don't even have to talk about the Christians being persecuted in Muslim countries around the world. Look at what's going on in the Western world, the way you have all these people, all these Muslim groups, okay, building up mosques from the UK straight to Canada, straight to Texas. I mean, they're just growing. And then you have these Muslim communities that are getting over on the American taxpayer. And then you have all these Muslim groups, all these people out there protesting, and they're just treating other people like basically like dirt. But yet you can't talk about it. And if you do talk about it, it's all just accusations. That's all they keep saying. President Trump accused this one. President Trump is accusing ISIS. President Trump is accusing this. What about the pastor that's standing there in a ditch begging for help? What about the people that were on live stream at the church that were being attacked? Was that an accusation? What about the satellite images? And I didn't want to show it, but there's video circulating. It's been circulating for a couple of weeks now. Of how many they're showing of how many people were slaughtered, that when they show satellite images, it didn't show the bodies, it showed on the ground the pools of blood. Okay, as a matter of fact, one who was it? I forgot the content creator. I think it was Asmongold, if not Nuxnor, I think it's called. One of the two. They did a video on it of showing the satellite image, and I mean, it's incredible. It's like, is this true? Is that really human blood on the ground? Is that how bad it is? And yet all you have is people out there chanting for free Palestine. Why don't you talk about the innocent Muslims that are supposedly being attacked by ISIS in Nigeria? Oh, because you can't have that narrative. It doesn't fit your narrative. What about the Christians? No, you can't do that. But yet you say that you love Christians, but you're okay with them being attacked. I mean, it's insane. What about all the school kids that were kidnapped, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Once again, kidnapped by Muslims, by Muslim extremists, whatever you want to call it. Nobody's worried about them. So now that all this is gaining wind, is gaining traction, gaining momentum, and President Trump decides and says, you know what? We gave them time. We told them to stop. They didn't stop. This is how we're going to do it. Now, all of a sudden, it's all over the media, the mainstream media, okay? But they're using trigger words like I said, accuse, accusation. Why? It's disgusting. I mean, you're not doing any favors for the innocent, but at the same time, like I said before, a lot of views on the left, you don't care about life. You don't care about human life. You really don't. You don't care what's going on overseas. You don't really care what's going on in the United States. You only care about your group and getting your agenda and your ideology pushed out, but you don't really care. You don't. Because if you did, knowing what's going on, even if it was one person, 1,000, or 1,000,000, you would have a little more compassion for the words that you use, but you don't. You want to use words in order to change the narrative, in order to make it seem as if, you know what, this is what President Trump is doing, but being that he hasn't put out that much information, it's hard for you to try to go in for the got you moment. So you got to start using the word accusation and stuff like that. And in all honesty, when it comes to like all the real intel of, you know, exactly who was in the middle of the airstrikes and stuff like that, me personally, I think they need to keep it quiet. Because the mainstream media right now, they're seething for any bit of information just so they can spin it around and point the finger and say, you see, President Trump is a warmonger. Innocent people were part of the target. But what about the innocent people that have been the target for so long? Before the United States just intervened. See what I'm saying? I mean, it's just straight up horrible. Straight up horrible. But I tell you what, for as much as I am against war, okay, not that I'm a coward. Like I've always said that, you know, innocent people, you know, get caught up in the middle of war. But this is something the president felt he needed to do. This is something that our Christian brothers and sisters overseas have been begging for. You know, they've been begging for help. But no. You got people in America like Ilhan Omar, okay, more worried about the Muslim community, the Muslim Somali community being vilified, and rightly so, for what they're doing in Minnesota. But she won't talk about it. Never mind, like I said, never mind the Christians. She doesn't want to talk about the Christians, that's fine. But she won't even talk about the innocent Muslims, the supposed innocent Muslims being killed in Nigeria. Why not? Yeah, we know why. We know why. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. Again, don't forget to press the hype button. Help the videos grow, help the channel grow. If you're on X, if you can find your way to YouTube and help watch the video, help it grow, gain some traction. It'll help the algorithm. And everybody, please give it a thumbs up and leave comments. Okay. Again, trying to get the channel to get some momentum here. You guys already know what I spoke about on my last couple of videos, so I'll leave it at that. I just want to say Merry Christmas one more time. Happy New Year to everyone. I want to thank everyone for the email sending me, wishing me a Merry Christmas. and just checking up on me. Thank you all. I love you guys. And remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for President Trump. Pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. And please keep praying for all the innocent people and our Christian brothers and sisters that are being persecuted around the world. Peace.